is starting.
Oh, honey, the big bad Ask Dr. Hal Show Home Edition is for adults only, so, put the kiddies to bed, will ya?
The finest in underground television.
Errantry. There was a merry passenger, a messenger, a mariner. He built a gilded gondola to wander in, and had in her a load of yellow oranges, and porridge for his provender. He perfumed her with marjoram, and cardamom, and lavender. He called the winds of argosies with cargoes in to carry him across the rivers 17 that lay between to tarry him. He landed all in loneliness where stonily in pebbles on the running river Derelin goes merrily forever on. He journeyed then through meadowlands to shadowland that dreary lay, and under hill and over hill went roving still a weary way. He sat and sang a melody, his errantry a tarrying. He begged a pretty butterfly that fluttered by to marry him. She scorned him, and she scoffed at him. She laughed at him, unpitying. So long he studied wizardry and sigurdry and smithying. He wove a tissue airy thin to snare her in. To follow her he made him beetle leather wing and feather wing of swallow hair. He caught her in bewilderment with filament of spider thread. He made her soft pavilions of lilies and a bridal bed of flowers and of thistledown to nestle down and rest her in, and silken webs of filmy white and silver light he dressed her in. He threaded gems in necklaces, but recklessly she squandered them, and fell to bitter quarreling. Then, sorrowing, he wandered on, and there he left her withering, as shivering he fled away, with windy weather following, on swallow wing he sped away. He passed the archipelagos where yellow grows the marigold, where countless silver fountains are, and mountains are of fairy gold. He took to war and foraying, a harrying beyond the sea, and roaming over Belle Marie, and Thelemy, and Fantasy. He made a shield and morion of coral and of ivory, a sword he made of emerald, and terrible his rivalry with elven knights of Aerie and Faerie, with paladins that golden-haired and shining-eyed came riding by and challenged him. Of crystal was his habergeon, his scabbard of chalcedony, with silver tipped at plenilune his spear was hewn of ebony. His javelins were of malachite and stalactite. He brandished them and went and fought the dragonflies of paradise and vanquished them. He battled with the Dumbledores, the Hummerhorns, and honeybees, and won the golden honeycomb, and running home on sunny seas in ship of leaves and gossamer with blossom for a canopy, he sat and sang, and furbished up and burnished up his panoply. He tarried for a little while in little isles that lonely lay, and found there naught but blowing grass. And so at last the only way he took and turned, and coming home with honeycomb, to memory his message came, an errand too, in daring do and glamoury he had forgot them, journeying and turning, a wanderer. So now he must depart again, and start again his gondola, forever still a messenger, a passenger, a terrier, a roving as a feather does, a weather-driven mariner. J.R.R. Tolkien.
Here before you is an opportunity to plumb the depths of the mysteries that confound and intrigue us. A chance to ask the big questions. Dr. Hal is not concerned with questions of trivial matters or of facts that are easily gathered elsewhere. Dr. Hal seeks the questions that transcend fact. He stands before you, ready to take questions that used to be brought to wise and aged sages on distant mountaintops. These questions can now be asked from the comfort of your living room. No Sherpas required. Simply direct your favorite web browser to our new and simple-to-use website, AskDrHalShow.com, or click the Ask Dr. Hal button below our live Twitch broadcast. You will be spirited away to the magical Co-Fee portal, where all you need do is submit your burning question in the handy message field, and assign a monetary value you wish to place upon it. Our stage ghost will then convey your message live to Dr. Hal, and he will answer in the manner that only Dr. Hal can. Don't worry, we never sell, share, or solicit using your provided email address. PayPal will ensure that your valuable love offering goes directly to Dr. Hal. Links to submit questions and more can be found at our website, AskDrHalShow.com. Do not let this opportunity to consult a modern-day oracle, a seer for seers, a man steeped in the arts, sciences, and esoteric studies, pass you by. We present to you, through the very miracle of the internet itself, the one and only Dr. Hal Robins, now making house calls. Welcome, dear audience. Hello, everybody.
Greetings and salutations.
Now, Pressure, are you putting me on, or is your microphone
No,
off?
I'm putting you on.
Yeah. Naturally.
A silent take on our greeting.
Yes, exactly.
Hello, everyone. I'm just being a goof.
Well, here it is, June, Earth, it's May, and we're doing another show.
Hooray, hooray.
Yes, indeed.
It's the 18th of May. Whatever you did on the 1st, do again today.
Mm-hmm.
Wash, rinse, repeat.
And those of you that received the poster for this month have noticed we have a bit of a theme shaping up.
Mommy.
Yes.
Wonder what that could be.
Mommy.
Mummification.
Mommy.
An interesting process.
Mm-hmm.
A side effect or an active effect of watching the program, perhaps.
Oh, I should hope not.
Why is the world so cruel, Mummy?
Oh.
Well, we're not cruel. We're nice people.
This is true. Very nice people.
We
and we
are-
encourage you to get your questions in to the doctor very shortly.
We're as harsh as truth and as uncompromising as justice.
I've realized that anybody who tells you up front that they're a nice guy, they're not.
Red flag.
It's
Why is it necessary to make that assertion?
well,
Well,
it's I deal a lot with feral cats these days, so I understand the approach. It's okay. We're friendly. It's all right.
Right. Well, a certain amount of caution is always indicated.
Mm-hmm.
I have to turn that off. There we go. I have the Twitch feed over here on the right hand side,
Oh,
and there's like a
yes.
3-second delay. It's
Oh,
really
yeah, don't look at the wrong one or you'll start to get a migraine. Yeah.
Dr. Hal, how are you this evening?
Feeling reasonably well.
Good, good.
Ready to do the thing here tonight.
Gonna do
Very
the
good.
thing. Gonna answer some questions. We have some
And
questions
to-
in the queue.
Chaff with the people in the chat room when it's all over, of course.
Ah, yes, of course. Our traditional after show chat, which if
Mhm.
you're around for the end of the show, we will have.
I even brought up the document that has the link for that up early so the audience didn't get it flash up in the middle of the screen.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
copy and paste it, or do you have to just touch
Yeah,
it and be
yeah.
whisked off to the site?
Copy and paste, man. I'm lazy. And those Zoom, addresses, you don't want to have to
Well, I
read
like
that.
to watch the very end of the show, and I'm afraid it will
Oh
end.
yes.
and
Oh
will
yeah.
be
Please,
with
please,
your-
audience, do not be in a hurry to leave. We have a lot of secret Easter eggs at the end of the show.
There's
For
all,
you.
there's
Yes,
all
we
kinds of
always
stuff
put
that goes
those in.
on. You never know. We have too much time on our hands. Is the
Truly.
problem here? And
Well, it's leaking away even as we speak.
well, let's let a little more drain away. These are minutes that no one will ever get back, and I'm feeling the energy. I'm in control now.
Mm-hmm.
But would you like a question? Do I hear correctly that you would like to have a question?
Yes, certainly. I accidentally called up your profile, which I'm trying to get rid of, but there. Now it's gone, and I can answer a question if you have one to begin
What did
the
my profile say?
question. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that
what's in your
was another
profile?
question.
Why do you
Well,
have my profile?
I don't have it. I hit it by mistake when I was trying to get to pin the frame, the main frame. I'd like it to be entirely in my screen, but my efforts to make it that way are not successful.
I've been profiled by Dr. Hal.
I have a dossier on all of you. I don't know
Well,
what
that
you're
right.
talking about.
Yes.
Goff, I'll tell you what. How about if I ask Dr. Howell the first question here? The first
Sounds
question,
wonderful.
as opposed to the
Yes.
last question.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sounds
we'll
very
we'll,
good.
we'll
I'll stand
get this
by.
ball on the road.
Yes.
No, we'll get this ball rolling and the show on the road. We'll get this ball on the
Yes.
road.
Something
Hooray,
about-
hooray! It's the
Oh,
1st of May. Let's get this ball on the road.
This detached tire bounding over the road strikes somebody's windshield.
Oh dear.
Professor Gofflin, we'll call you back in just a moment.
Very good.
There we are. And let me bring the questions up here, Dr. Hal. I do have a screen that has those on it. Let me see what we have. Oh, we have questions in the queue. I have one here, and it is a $20 question, and I want to know the
Really?
answer to this myself. It is from our
Mm-hmm.
very good friend Agrajag,
Mm-hmm.
and it is, what is the smell of one hand clapping?
Uh-huh. Well, that requires synesthesia. It requires the substitution of the auditory sensation for the sensation of touch. Since, after all, it is possible to clap with one hand, although this was never what the creators of the adage had in mind. By simply bending the fingers rapidly, they can strike against the palm. But doing this too much can cause a certain sweaty fatigue, and eventually the sweat becomes noticeable to the olfactory sense. However, before that, it may occur naturally in synesthetic individuals, as I said before. If this is not a problem, but something to cultivate, I should think. And that odor can be in mind whenever you hear the ineffable, which is really what the sound of one hand clapping means. So thank you for your question and for your generous donation, to which I answer with this poem by John Keats. When I have fears that I may cease to be, before my pen has gleaned my teeming brain, before high piled books in charactery hold like rich garners the full ripened grain, when I behold upon the night's starred face huge cloudy symbols of a high romance, and think that I may never live to trace their shadows with the magic hand of chance. And when I feel, fair creature of an hour, that I shall never look upon thee more, never have relish in the fairy power of unreflecting love, then on the shore of the wide world I stand alone and think, till love and fame to nothingness do sink.
Very nice, Hal.
Beautiful.
All right, well, let me bring up another question. Professor Gofflin, over to you.
Very good.
And
All right. I will gladly take this next one. Let's see. This next one here is from our friend of the show, actually. This is Reverend Shaft, who is somebody that we know and love, but I'm not sure they want their conspiracy name used. This is a $3 question, and they ask, is it true that the face of Bob appears to every human being as a countenance with different features, depending on their subjective point of view, but the pipe remains the same across all cultures? Or is that a dirty Christian lie?
Well, I'd never heard this before, but it sounds like the sort of thing which is often uttered in moments of religious ecstasy. But there is a danger in one person knowingly saying what occurs to all different people in different ways. One can only have one's own experience with the mysterious glyph of the Dobbs head. But as an artist, as an artificer and maker, one is compelled to create the variations which, if not immediately apprehended there, are implied. The human facial features, after all, reorganized in minute ways, create all of the faces that we can ever see, each one different and variant, but on the other hand, similar, creating multeity in unity. Apart from this, there's the deliberate joy in creating goofy takes on the face with deliberate distortions. These can occur in one's apprehension of the faces that one meets in the street, either if one is not careful.
Excellent.
Well.
Very good answer.
With that, we are going to go to our first monster movie moment.
Oh, that's very good. We have some monstrous movie moments this time, which we hope will please our viewers.
See if you can guess the theme.
Yeah. If you haven't had it spoiled for you already, see if you can guess.
Not
Right.
everybody saw the advert, but I think yes, the theme has already been sounded by our cartoon.
Well, we are sub-geniuses, so, this can pass for a bit of an IQ test, I guess. Just how sub-genius are you? Have you figured it out yet?
Yeah.
But audience, this is the Ask Dr. Hal show, and we need you to ask. Professor Gofflin and I will intercede on your behalf to talk directly to Dr. Hal. So, get those questions in. This is an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. Get those questions in. The good doctor, we have to bleed off the doctor's brain or he will explode.
Yes, it's a very painful condition indeed. So
Before
Yeah,
your
well,
eyes.
less about that, the better.
Spontaneously human combust in front of you.
Intracranial hypertrophy.
Starting with the
Well.
head like a match.
A match head.
Horrible sight. I've seen it happen, and we just don't want it. We don't want it on recording. It's just
no.
So, monster movie moment. Get those questions in, audience.
All right, very good.
B.
Excellent. Well, that was quite a film. Dr. Hal, you were saying that you're a relation of the actor that portrays the young archaeologist?
Bramwell Fletcher, yes. The exact relation I would only know by talking to my sister, who's the archivist of our family. You
Oh.
mentioned Cagliostro, and there is a film about him called Black Magic featuring Orson Welles, which is quite an interesting movie.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not realize that treatment was actually made.
Well, I don't know if it's the original treatment that they began with to make this film, but it is about that person and full of interesting incident and performance.
I see. Very good. Well, Dr. Hal, are you ready for the next question?
As ready as ever.
Very good. All right, this next question is a $30 question.
Good Lord.
From Reverend No Exit, and they ask, Dr. Hal, can you tell us the story of Mobius Rex? Who was he? What happened to him? Is he really buried below the floorboards of KPFA? Could he possibly be the original Bob? Will we ever see or hear from him again?
Well, some things cannot be known in the story, which is still happening, but that all that business about him being buried under the floorboards of KPFA to start at one particular point at random was, I believe, a metaphor. He had the show, which originally was the start of the Subgenius Ministry on KPFA. And it eventually became, after being the Subgenius show for a while, the Puzzling Evidence show, as it is now, under the aegis of Puzzling Evidence himself. But Robert Nelson, who lived in Berkeley for a number of years, was an alchemist and also would send things, death ray plans and other blueprints to followers who requested them. And he left his commodious apartment in Berkeley and became a hermit, essentially, still performing his alchemical experiments, but far from here. And I haven't heard from him for years. Those years have become decades, but I wouldn't be surprised if we were to hear him or from him again at some time. Mobius Rex was his show name. And recently a book came out praising his efforts. I'm afraid I can't tell you the name of the book, although I have an illustration in it. But his work has not gone unnoticed or unknown in the most esoteric circles. I can assure you, he's not buried under the floorboards of KPFA. They don't go in for that sort of thing over there. And in any case, they're in a different and newer building now than when that earlier show started. I certainly hope that that answer, as incomplete as it may be, is somewhat satisfying. This is a poem by Robert Frost. I have been one acquainted with the night. I have walked out in rain and back in rain. I have outwalked the farthest city light. I have walked out the longest city lane. I have passed by the watchman on his beat and dropped my eyes, unwilling to explain. And I have stopped to hear the sound of feet when over housetops came a distant cry from over housetops from a distant street, but not to say good night or say goodbye. And far above, at an unearthly height, one luminary clock against the sky proclaims the time is neither wrong nor right. I have been one acquainted with the night.
Beautiful, Dr. Hal. I have a sponsored question. This is being sponsored by St. Joyce.
Oh, all right.
And it is a question that Trixie asked that St. Joyce thought was worthy of your attention. And it refers back to something that I said about, subgeniuses and, where are you on the subgenius? Trixie asks, is there a subgenius spectrum?
Most interesting. Well, this could be devised or made. The more subgenius principles inform your life, and the more they are principally central in your life, that makes you a high number subgenius, if we go by the way the Masons do with their 33rd degree and so on. But I have to say that some people are just naturally subgenius. They act in a subgenius way. They have never been exposed to our literature or propaganda, but they don't need to be exposed to it since they embody it. And those might be the highest degree subgenius altogether. But we don't want to discriminate across this spectrum and have the high numbers sneer at the low numbers, since a low number can simply be a sleeper, one who is waiting to be activated by an encounter with the work of serious subgeniuses who are constantly sending it out and creating an entire universe of variations. I would say the short answer then was yes, there is a subgenius spectrum. And we could entertain ourselves by asking ourselves just where we might appear on that spectral line. What was the amount there that was sponsored?
That was a $10 question, Dr. Hal.
Oh. Well, I hope it was a $10 answer.
We're back. All of us. Look. In our we call this the slot machine.
Yeah, it's sort of
Arrangement.
you pull the handle and
Mm-hmm.
which one you get depends. Yeah.
We should do that effect. Could we
There's
do
got
that?
to
Is
be
that
some
doable?
way to do that. I'm sure
Really?
that there's
And-
a myriad of ways to do
Yeah.
things in
With the
OBS.
sound effect as well as the
oh my
it
God! I
has
got
to.
3 Hals.
scrolling.
Get 3 Hals, you get a recitation. That.
Ooh. There's always a business angle to this. I love this.
We're always thinking on this show. This is a thinking show. That's why
Well,
nobody
show
watches
for-
us.
Reader.
A show for thinking people. And for you thinking people who are watching us right now, please get your questions in that question queue. We can always use more. So this is your cue to get in the queue.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Ask Dr. Hal show.
We cannot do this without your wonderful audience questions, so please keep them coming.
Ask
I,
yourself
too,
where you are on the
is
spectrum.
to the questions.
You know, that question though of the subgenius spectrum. One movie that illustrated that for me is Nightbreed.
Yes.
We featured it on the show, but that idea of, you know, the levels of the monsters, and the deeper you go, the odder it gets. And
Yes, but then the telling monsters that live outside with the normals.
yeah, we're the
Some of us
ones that
are-
are sort of, you know,
The
look
David
like
Cronenberg
that.
character.
Some of us are better at wearing the mask.
Mhm.
There's my mask is can you, no, he's out of picture right now. I've got
Oh dear, you do have a mask.
yes, I've
Yeah.
got I actually paid real money for that mask. You got yours for free because you worked.
I earned that. I
You
marched
earned
in the Doodah parade, and Satellite Weavers gifted me a mask. So,
The artifice.
indeed.
One thing that I often say, and Reverend Stang is in the room, but when Reverend Stang put out that call for weirdos, he never did specify exactly what kind of weirdos he was putting the call out for. So that's always been interesting to me, because we do have quite a selection of really people who do not march to the beat of your typical drummer.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
And a different time signature also.
Yeah. Sometimes by years. Anyway,
Well, speaking of folks that march to a different time signature, would you like to introduce our next guest?
I would. We have something new. Professor Gofflin found this individual, and they bring something new. And if they aren't one of us, I don't know who is. But we bring to you the Loud Mime, the silent mime.
No, he's not the loud silent mime. He's
We're
the
on
loud
the
mime.
spectrum.
He's the loudest mime allowed.
Loud Mime. Here's the Loud Mime. And as soon as I find the button, there it is.
Let us welcome to the stage everyone's favorite oxymoron, the Loud Mime!
All right, let's do this. What you're about to witness is weird. I'm gonna shove myself violently through this little tennis racket from side to side. Up on the balance board, right up here for your sick amusement. But first, I should introduce myself. I am the world's only talking mime. About the same reaction I got from the other mimes. The other day, some guy come up to me. He said, "Mimes don't talk." I said, "Don't put me in a box, buddy." I really am a mime. Care about mime issues. It's true. My mime friend from Mexico, my Mexican mime friend, he told me that wall was actually built. I don't give a shit what side of the fence you're on. That one's funny. Because it's still a fence. Ooh, we're digging the mime stuff, okay. I'm gonna try a couple of new mime jokes. I have no idea if they're gonna work or not. I'm just gonna give them a shot, okay? A mime with Parkinson's. Okay, that joke's too mature for this crowd. We'll do a less mature joke. Wall, 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 window. I'm trying to tailor the show to your interests. We'll find something in the middle. No, that was not nearly mature enough for you, man. So we're going to do something in the middle of the road. A teenage mime joke. You guys seen mime porn? Very intense stuff. They do unspeakable things. I'll give you this. It's better than my parents' reaction. My parents, they found out I was a mime. Now they don't talk to me. Might have been the gay things. Ooh, some of you are giggling, some of you are staring at me like an Amish family at the Apple store now. Staring at me like a piece of pork at a Jewish wedding. You got me sweating like a pedophile at a Justin Bieber concert. Oh, no. Was that it? That was the line, huh? I'm like Bianca Del Rio. I'm going to cross the line, turn around, and snort it. This only gets worse. This is part of the show where we're trying to alienate some of the people who just aren't going to have a good time. I'm going up, folks. I'm going through. Up top, on the balance board. Thank you. All the way through, folks. All this. I can sense a shift in the room. I didn't expect this at Coney Island, but I do. I can sense a little Fox News stranger danger in the air. Look, I'm going to come straight out with it. You want to walk off at this point, fine by me. I'm going to just come out and say it. I'm non-binary, bisexual, and polyamorous. I mean, I got a boyfriend and a girlfriend, but they've got neither. Down south, they just call it fancy gay. We'll leave it at that. I don't need your approval. I got the approval of my community. I was voted Miss Gender 2024. Miss Gender. You get it? All right. I'm going up, folks. I'm going through. Up one leg, down the other. Put my body in half to squeeze through. All this. All this. Through this little hole right here. You guys think I can do it? Say yeah. Wasn't everybody. I'm going to need you, sir, real quick, just to check out the racket. Woo, it's all right. My dad didn't play catch with me either. That's all right. It could have been either one of us, really. You just check it out. You don't have to throw it back to me so quick. Doesn't have age on it. It's all right. You just check it out. Make sure it's up. This is going to get worse. You make sure it's solid. You make sure it's all there. Yeah? We never met before, correct? No, I'd remember a face like that. It's okay, it's not gay, it's fancy. It's not gay or fancy, it's a CVS receipt. Look at that, look at that. All I got was the Snickers. This is ridiculous. It's a real racket, yeah? You'll notice no string attached. That's because we're in New York. And our men and women. And the women, by and large, are by and large. Very much. You're going to toss that racket back to me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Everybody give this guy a big round of applause. One and toss it. That's one that's better in Europe, so let's make it. All the way up, all the way through. Up top, on the balance board. That's up one leg, down the other, front of my body, and half to squeeze through. Everybody go, ooh. Ooh. Pretty good. Over both shoulders, down the rib cage, through the danger zone. Everybody go, ah. Ah. Damn right, ah. My brother tried this trick once. Now she's my sister. Has nothing to do with the trick. It's just who she is. You love her very much. You can laugh. Susan's doing well. If you're offended on my behalf. There's a queer out here telling gay jokes, and you're upset. That's on you. Where would we be? Where would we be without comedy, right? So glad. All right, this one's a test for you guys more than it's a test for me. If you don't laugh at this one, it's dad jokes the rest of the show. It's like a choose your own adventure. I really don't know where I stand with some of you, so we got to do the comedy test. Here we go. the Nazi joke. It's a tasteful one. It's a tasteful one. What's the... I'm going to do it. What's the difference between the Nazis and the gays? About 90 degrees. If you didn't laugh at that one, you're homophobic. Or you failed geometry. Let's be honest, those two kind of go hand in hand. If you're homophobic and you did laugh, you can take that one home. It's a good one. Folks, this is a circus trick. This is a trick I learned at the circus. Who would have thunk? Back in my circus days, I dated a dwarf. I did. Dated a dwarf. He was the handsomest man I ever met. I was nuts over this guy. We had a lot in common, you know. I came out of the closet, he came out of the cupboard. As much as we had in common, we never really saw eye to eye. He was a Republican. One day he came up to me, he said, "I'm not happy." I said, "Well, which one of them are you?" Now that is about as Disney as this show is gonna get. Buckle up. Up north, they're offended by that one every time. Down south, they don't get it. I can't win. My mama calls that joke the reason mime shouldn't talk. Look, folks, we gotta learn to take things a little less serious. Laugh at ourselves. Laugh at each other. After all, it's a bunch of folks sitting around listening to a mime talk. It's not that serious. What is serious is this: if you've got a joke in your heart, it makes you laugh, but you won't tell your friend because you're assuming they're too weak to laugh at themselves. That's infantilizing. That's patronizing. It's more damn offensive than the joke in the first place. We could all use a laugh. Yeah? Tell the damn joke. Just make it tasteful. Hands out the pocket, sir. I'll do the entertaining around here. See, it's tasteful. All the way up, all the way through. Up one leg, down the other. One of my body can have to squeeze through. Everybody say, "Just do it." Just do it. A bit nicer, please. Everybody say, "You can do it." You can do it. You don't know that. Everybody. I mean every. Oh, hold on. Gotta take this off. Woo. I used to be a circus strongman. I went vegan. Look at me now. I'm so skinny now I gotta run around in the shower to get wet. It's pathetic, but it helps with the tricks. All the way up, all the way through. Everybody go, "Hup! Sit up, don't distract me. When my foot hits this board, you're an intelligent audience. You know what a good cheer sounds like. I want to hear you this time. Nice and loud. Should have been so much easier if I stepped through the racket before I got up here. I'm in! Big moment! That's what I mean, there's only one way out. It's like the mob. What are you folks from the mob? New York. All the way. Get my head through. We do it. That's it. You know, when I was little. I did it. 1, 2, 3, everybody! I'm in. Over my head. I mean, way over my head. I'm gonna try and fit my arm through. Watch. Hop! There's the hand. I've never made it this far before. First elbow through. It's all right, that was my mouth. April Fool's, bitches. First shoulder through. Ah! It's my Serena Williams impression. How'd I do it? Should have been a little lower than the fag. So. Ooh. Stop mentioning it, Will. It's your whole personality now. Second hand. Second elbow. Second shoulder through. Shut up! You know, some folks ask ask me after the show, they say, how'd you get so talented, Will? I say, this is not talent. This is 10 years of hard work, working up to something that sucks to do every single time. You know, sometimes I wish I could just quit my diet and buy a bigger racket. This is not easy. I'm not athletic. It's a trick my parents call the closest I ever got to playing a sport. It's funny because it's true. You know, when I was little, all I ever wanted to do was fit in. Thanks for laughing. It's about the best that joke's ever done. I'm going to get out of this thing and move straight to the next act. Everybody here, counting down with me from 3, nice and loud. Everybody. 3, 2, 1, hop! I'm stuck. It feels good, but I'm stuck. 3, 2, 1, last try. 3, 2, 1, hop!
Due to the unpredictable nature of the Ask Dr. Hal show, home edition, some material may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Unnecessary caveat.
Indeed, especially after we've just shown the stuff with the offensive jokes.
and see, I have to apologize to Professor Gofflin because we have a text thing that goes on back and forth. You know, we're going this, doing that. You know, going it's production stuff. And I said, okay, I'm going to open on me, and then I opened on all 3 of us because I recalled that Professor Gofflin wanted to say something else about the act that you just saw.
Yes, indeed. So the Loud Mime, fabulous performer. If you would like to follow them on social media, you can do so at it's at Loud Mime Show on both Instagram and TikTok, and their website is loudmimeshow.com. And yeah, my beloved life partner and I discovered them in Salem when we were there in October and actually saw them live. We just stumbled onto their performance on the street and just stayed there and watched it for a while. And
he's an East Coaster.
You know, actually, no, they tour around the nation and actually internationally as well. I think they did Fringe Fest in Edinburgh, if I'm not. Yeah, so a lot of Ren fairs, a lot of sort of like street art busking out collectives, that kind of thing. So yeah, very, very interesting individual.
Check
Paying your
out
dues.
Well, in any event, I have another question for the doctor, but before I go, audience, what the hell? Come on, this is the Ask Dr. Hal show. Get those questions into the queue. Surely you have something burning in the pit of your belly that you want the doctor to solve for you.
On the other hand, it doesn't have to be a really good, clever question. It can be any question. The entertainment part is responsible. We are responsible for.
Indeed, yes. No question too great or too small. Please ask away, dear audience.
It could be the dumbest question that we have ever heard, as long as you put a love offering attached to it. Hey, we're good.
Exactly. So please, help us help you.
Right. All right. Well, with that, I do have a question for you, Dr. Hal. Let me go ahead. Professor Gofflin, we'll bring you back shortly. Hello, Dr. Hal. I have a question from our very good friend Xenofact, who does advertising and newsletters and all that stuff for us, which we are eternally grateful. volunteers. We're all volunteers here. But I have a question. It is a $15 question. And it is, I love ossuaries, those tombs decorated with the bones of the interred. How do we revive this artistic tradition instead of just burying people? Let's have some recycling.
Well, I'm in favor of it, of course, but the funeral industry stands largely and solidly in the way. To make decorative elements out of the remains of the dead means that an opportunity to make money from this transition from life to death has been ignored and may even be in some sense mocked. And this, the guardians of the keys of capitalism, will certainly not prevent from happening. No, it is the problem. And if one collects medical specimens, one could start making an ossuary, but they are expensive and it would take a long time. The ossuaries of Europe took centuries to accumulate and were arranged and are being arranged by those devoted to them. So it needs be more than one person's fancy or hobby, but a lifetime mission from the devout and the devoted, probably in more desperate times than ours. But we are all faced with the ceremonies of death at some time, and that brings us to another possible way, which is to make a fake one out of plaster remains and use the power of a Walt Disney Imagineer to make a moldy crypt. In the 18th century, such structures were considered fashionable and Gothic, meaning by their lights barbarous, because they were opposed to the classical world that did not prioritize the ghastly display that fascinated the writers of the first Gothic novels, and eventually created the Gothic literature of Melmoth the Wanderer, Frankenstein, and other such books. At any rate, if you wish to start this fad, you must be willing yourself to be among the bones which are part of a decorative scheme larger than death or people. Also by Robert Frost, Fire and Ice. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. Yet, if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that ice is also great and would suffice.
Lovely. Thank you, Dr. Hal. I have here an $11 question from Reverend Fnord, and the question reads, was the Illuminati really Bavarian or a ploy by Operation Mindfuck to hide its Mississippi roots?
Societies, groups, philosophies can spontaneously arise in different places according to the ethos of the age that produced them. But the famed Bavarian Illuminati were from Bavaria. The group was founded by Adam Weishaupt, who was a professor of canon law at the University of Ingolstadt, where Victor Frankenstein studied, if you may remember. And the original idea was to promote the ideas of the Enlightenment, which were strongly opposed then, as they are today, by know-nothings and fanatics, but then by the fervent advocates of the religion which the Enlightenment held up to a pitiless examination. It was an opposition to religious influence, and it had a lot to do with the foundation of the United States. Certain founders of the country were in communication with the fellow travelers of this type of thought. The Jefferson Memorial says around the inside of the dome, I am opposed to, what does it say? I'm opposed to every, something like, I'm opposed to every impediment that shackles the mind of man. That is not what it actually says, but that's parsing. But then the part that is not inscribed there goes on to say, that is why the clergy oppose me. Well, sir, the Illuminati did operate as a secret society, with members using pseudonyms and communicating in cipher, rather like the Church of the Subgenius in its early days. And it had a hierarchical structure with various degrees of initiation, attracting members from different social strata. And so do we. If there was a group in Mississippi that adopted the principles, they are joined by bonds, which, though invisible, are nonetheless substantial and real, because they are thinking the same. Great minds running in the same groove. And Baron Adolf von Krieger helped with the organization and expansion, but I'm not sure he knew about the ones which arose in Mississippi. There's always the great difference between the old world and the new to consider, as well as the difference between our world and the newer one, which ideally shall replace it.
Very good, Dr. Hal. Well, we are looking for more questions. We do have some in the queue. Things
we do indeed.
You know, we
and,
have some.
Pressure, I have here in the chat, Dr. Billy, our dear friend, is saying that he has submitted a question that is not showing in the queue for some reason. Let me see if we can get that from him, and we'll get that read for you.
He can type it again, and it will appear in our chat, and we can get
Absolutely.
it.
Yes.
I don't know why we wouldn't be receiving it.
I'm unclear.
Unless they are jamming us.
Oh, it's the hand of the conspiracy at work again, folks. Well, you heard it here first.
It begins. It's starting. We're help! We're being repressed.
Indeed. Well, very good.
It's about time. Been waiting for that repression for a long time now. I'm dying for repression. All right, well, we have a monster movie moment. So while Billy gets that question to us, and we know you're good for the money, Billy. It's, we're not worried about that.
Just send in the query.
Just give us the question. We watch out for our own here.
Yeah.
We take care of our own hair. All right, well, I've got a monster movie moment. In this movie, I gotta say, what a gem this movie is, audience, if you have not seen this movie. I'm a sucker for adult fairy tales, I have to admit, just they're good ones are few and far between, but when you get a good one like this one.
But also the central performer who portrays Adele Blanc-Sec is riveting, has so much charisma. You can't take your eyes off her, and she does carry the story first and foremost.
And the opening
Fabulous.
picture here is, oh man, she
You
is.
you might have chosen that intentionally.
I did. I did. Well, I did I did a search of, stills, and that one came up was, oh, yeah, that's the picture right there.
Mhm.
So anyway, here it is. And audience, get those questions in. We've got a few for our last segment coming up. So, if you're waiting, you waited long enough, you're going to miss your opportunity. And you know how rare these opportunities are. You're going to have to wait another month with that question constipated in your brain. Don't do it. Get it out.
Well, the question may need to be decanted at a specific time, and one can be only the servant of the question carrying it forward. Nonetheless, we urge you not to hang back, but to present what you have when you can.
I am perfectly willing to read green questions.
Hmm?
Don't wait for it to ripen on the vine. It could
Right. We
decay.
will take care of the husbandry of it once it leaves you and comes into our hands.
And I happen to know that this is an audience of frop smokers, right? So I happen to know from my personal experience that my memory is not as good as it used to be. So don't wait.
Hmm.
Don't wait.
Everyone blames the frop for that, but I wonder.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, we all need something to point at to say this is why we are the way we are.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's always something.
Ah, all right, got a monster movie moment. Here it comes.
Ah, very good. Another of the extraordinary adventures of Adele Blanc-Sec.
That's quite right. I kept saying the amazing adventures. Of course, they are also amazing, but they are chiefly extraordinary. And in
Indeed.
my narration, I went farther afield than the Egyptian tradition. I mentioned Elegua, which actually comes from African magic and voodoo, and then Draupadi. I couldn't help throwing in because her unwrapping is part of a Hindu tradition.
Ah,
But they all are mixed in the end. All religions are true, all perceptions are valid, all ideals are new, and all flavors go into the stew, all dressings go well with the salad.
indeed. Thank you for the wisdom, Dr. Hal. Are you ready for our next question?
I suppose so.
All right, this next one is from our dear friend of the show, Dr. Billy, our musical director.
Ah, we got
Uh,
the question.
and this is a $15 question.
Really?
Yes, and Dr. Billy asks, Mummy, 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 what about the most scary of all? Billy Mummy. He'll wish you into the cornfield.
Yes, well, what about him? You've brought him up, of course. He's not mummified like the others. In fact, his name has only one M, Mummy. But he did an unforgettable performance in that Twilight Zone episode entitled The Good Life. Wasn't that, It's a Good Life? Wasn't that written by Jerome Bixby, or am I thinking of someone else? At any rate, one does not wish to give a child all power, or an adult with a child's set of behaviors. We unfortunately are slow to learn this. Billy Mooney went on to play against Dr. Smith and the robot on Lost in Space, and still later he was in a rock band with many other actors of equal familiarity, including Mel Ferrer, Jose Ferrer's son. Anyway, One doesn't have to look scary like a mummy to be scary, and by the same token, if one looks scary, one is not necessarily scary, as all the mummies in Adele Blanc's show. They are helpful and polite. Or the giant space spider in the movie Spaceman turns out to be a benign and noble influence on the proceedings. The Death of a Toad by Richard Wilbur. A toad the power mower caught, chewed, and clipped of a leg, with a kind of hobbling hop has got to the garden verge, and sanctuaried him under the cineraria leaves, in the shade of the ashen, heart-shaped leaves, and a low, and a final glade. The rare original heart's blood flows on the earthen hide, in the folds and wrinklings of the banked and staring eyes. He lies as still as if he would return to stone, and soundlessly attending dies toward some deep monotone, toward misted and ebullient seas and cooling shores, toward lost amphibias, emperies. Day dwindles, drowning, and at last is gone in the wide and staring eyes which still appear to watch across the castrate lawn, the haggard daylight steer.
Wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Hal.
Well, we have some questions in the queue. Audience, get those questions into us. We very much want to get them answered for you this evening.
Right.
Let's see. I have a question. Professor Gofflin, let me bring you back in just a minute, and I'm gonna ask that question of Dr. Hal.
Certainly.
It is a $10 question.
Mm-hmm.
And it is from a new questioner, Reverend Billy Bart. I don't believe I've seen them before, but it's pertinent to the show, I think. Who among us has not been broken in upon while doing an unholy thing?
Well, I don't know. I can't answer for the others or for all, but if one is doing an unholy thing, it is being done sequestered so as not to cause undue and unwanted attention. Any interruption of its performance is to be broken in upon, and then, of course, to be retaliated against is something which carries this reaction further. However, many in our own time have managed the trick of making performing an abomination, an unholy thing, seem normal, wholesome in some strange way, and even desirable. That is why one should always consider the consequences of any activity or action, even when presented as some form of recreation whose performance would not affect anyone in particular.
I'd like to remind the audience, I did put out in the chat queue the link for tonight's after show chat. You can...
Yes, come to the after show.
Yeah, come on out. Hang out with us. You know.
Just.
We're a hoot.
It's always fun to see your faces, though,
right?
So, yes.
Right, that's what the whole Zoom thing is about. You get to see the face.
Sometimes hundreds of them, all staring at you.
Mm-hmm. Well, comes with the territory.
Reflecting in your glasses. Anyway, I will put that, let me throw that link out there while I am saying it, and you all know that I'm doing it right now.
In the chat, you will find it. But what if you can't find it? Then go to the website and you will be directed to the chat room from there.
And everybody has it. It is in the show chat, and it's in the show chat.
Very
Mhm.
good.
And there's no chat like show chat.
Truly.
Professor Gofflin, I understand that you have a question for Dr. Hal, so I will pass the torch over to you.
Indeed. Okay. All right, Dr. Hal, I have here, oops, let me refresh my memory. This is a $12 question from our friend Mob Miati.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had to look up the pronunciation of this really quickly because this was a stumper for me. How high can Potsebi bounce?
How was that spelled?
It's a Polish word. It's Potrzebie.
That was always in the old EC comics, and I had the impression that that crowd pronounced it Potsuribi, which
Ah.
is how little I knew. You have the actual uh, pronunciation, and I'll remember it. Potsebi, you say. Most interesting. Well, then the question is to establish what it is, and it is a portmanteau term like others used by EC Comics and their descendant Mad Magazine in particular. Other ones, for example, include Verschlungener and so on. But if Potsebi is bouncing, and if it is the form of a ball, and if it is to be as exceptional as its name indicates, then perhaps it is like that mystery substance described by William Pinet du Bois, which bounces. It's called Fulroy, bounces higher than the height from which it is dropped. That is to say, energy comes into the equation which should not be there. Such a substance, in fact, perhaps the same one, was flubber, as in the movie The Absent-Minded Professor and its sequel, Son of Flubber. And in my youth, a substance was merchandised called Zectron, and Zectron produced an incredibly compacted rubber ball which almost bounced higher than the height from which it was dropped. These balls were, and for all I know are, still called super balls. Any of them could be named Potsebi. Is that what you said, Potsebi? Simply as a metaphor. And that's as far as we will ever get to such a substance. It's like saying, I'm going to open up a can of whoop ass on you. Well, where do you get the can? Do you go to the store? Do you buy it? Do you inquire for it? No, it has already served you as a metaphor. And so, in this connection, also, if you have a ball that bounces higher than the height from which it is dropped and increases in speed, then you have essentially the long sought anti-gravity, which is still a dream of scientists.
I have a question here, Dr. Hal, from our very good friend, Dr. Penny. It is a $30 question.
Oh.
And let's see, when were the first wooden negatives found in Egypt, and what did they show?
They were there were pictoglyphs set in a hardening medium, and the wooden negatives formed them. They were first carved, and what they showed were hieratic lives of the keepers of the temple, the priesthood, and the family which ruled Egypt, the pharaonic family, all connected symbolically and religiously. They were placed in the tombs as an aid to memory, since it was thought that emerging from the long sleep between the first and second life might need some jogging of this memory. No one knows how much a mummy might remember, but as we can see from our last film clip, they remember everything and can see without eyes, so we shouldn't worry about them. Sweeney among the nightingales. Ape-neck Sweeney spreads his knees, letting his arms hang down to laugh. The zebra stripes along his jaw swelling to maculate giraffe. The circles of the stormy moon slide westward toward the river plate. Death and the raven drift above, and Sweeney guards the horned gate. Gloomy Orion and the dog are veiled and hushed, the shrunken seas. The person in the Spanish cape tries to sit on Sweeney's knees, slips and pulls the tablecloth, overturns the coffee cup. Reorganized upon the floor, she yawns and draws her stocking up. The silent man in mocha brown sprawls at the windowsill and gapes. The waiter brings in oranges, bananas, figs, and hothouse grapes. The silent vertebrate in brown contracts and concentrates, withdraws. Rachel Ne Rabinovich tears at the grapes with murderous paws. She and the lady in the cape are suspect, thought to be in league. Therefore the man with heavy eyes denies the gambit, shows fatigue, leaves the room, and reappears outside the window, leaning in. Branches of wisteria circumscribe a golden grin. The host, with someone indistinct, converses at the door apart. The nightingales are singing near the convent of the Sacred Heart, and sang within the bloody wood, where Agamemnon cried aloud, and let their liquid siftings fall to stain the stiff, dishonored shroud. T.S. Eliot.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Hal. I have here another question for you. This here is a $6 question from our friend Reverend Dr. Les. And he asks, are immortals sure they don't die?
Well, no one can be sure of that. They are sustained, perhaps in their life, which is greater than our lives, but are they here at all, or have they gone on to some other plane? Aldous Huxley wrote a book, I forget the title of it, but in it he posits that yes, you survive death, but then you can die after that. What was the name of that one? At any rate, there is nothing keeping the flame of existence burning except perhaps volition, the willingness to press on. Who needs to be immortal if you can't live with yourself here in this life? If you find your continuous existence unpleasant, this will only increase with incredible heaviness and inescapable pain as long as you persist, ending up with you in a literal hell. But if you are able to find enjoyment as you continue to go on into the infinite, then it may be a more happy hunting ground. Of course, this is all unknown. Strange, is it not, that of the myriads who before us passed the door of darkness through, not one returns to tell us of the road which to discover we must travel too. The revelations of devout and learned who rose before us and as prophets burned are all but stories, which arose from sleep, they told their comrades, and to sleep returned.
Very good, Dr. Howe. I have what could very well be the very last question of the evening.
Really?
Yes, but audience, that doesn't mean it's too late. You can still squeeze them in.
We can always do that as long as this part of the show keeps running. So just add one to the queue.
But so a couple of things for the audience. First off, the after show chat is in the Twitch chat, so the link for that. So come on over and join us. Do give us a couple minutes to get set up. It does take us a minute to drop from this platform into the other one. So and you
Right.
see
Well,
that.
don't go there now. We're still running the show, and
No,
we
don't
still
leave.
have the rest of the show to do. But it's all right to prepare yourself to move on to the next thing, which in this case is the after show chat room.
Back. And let's see. I have a question, and I think it's the last one. Let me spin those wheels one more time. Well, of course,
and round
do that.
and round she goes, and where she stops, nobody knows what.
But this is technically this is a second question from our very good friend Mob Miati tonight.
Oh, all right.
And so a grand total of $24 in the queue
great.
from our very good friend. And this question is, it's a $12 question, and how should we treat elves?
Oh, well, that's a good question. How should we treat elves? How should elves treat us? That is the appended question. There is a poem by Morris Bishop called How to Treat Elves, but that one I will not repeat. It is somewhat tiresome to hear since one has to come up with an obnoxious little elf voice. At the end, the narrator picks up his foot and squashes the elf. So that is one writer's idea of how to treat elves. But it's no ordinary thing to encounter one of the longevi, these beings which inhabit our plane of existence but are seldom seen and yet have influence in our lives. Why should there even be an implication, an inference, a feeling that we could certainly deal with them? We would have a way to keep them in their place. Alas, we might end up being the poor relations in the equation, since they may predate us and post-date us as things turn out. I would not treat an elf any less differently than I treat a human. That is to say, give him the benefit of the doubt at all times. This is by Dylan Thomas. The force that through the green fuse drives the flower, drives my green age, that blasts the roots of trees, is my destroyer. And I am dumb to tell the crooked rose, my youth is bent by the same wintry fever. The force that drives the water through the rocks drives my red blood, that dries the mouthing streams, turns mine to wax, and I am dumb to mouth unto my veins how from the mountains spring the same mouth sucks. The hand that whirls the water in the pool stirs the quicksand that ropes the blowing wind, hauls my shroud sail, and I am dumb to tell the hanging man how of my clay is made the hangman's lime. The lips of time leach to the fountainhead. Love drips and gathers, and the fallen blood shall calm her sores. And I am dumb to tell the weather's wind how time has ticked a heaven round the stars. And I am dumb to tell the lover's tomb how at my sheet goes the same crooked worm. So what's the picture? Anything more in the hopper?
Well, let me spin those wheels one more time.
Give that jar a good shake.
Nope. You know what? Let me just make sure that nothing's stuck in the bottom. No, I think we're golden.
All right. Well, we can go on and conclude the program.
Well, and just because the Q&A section is over doesn't mean the show is over. We still have more eye candy to present to our audience this evening, and recitations from Dr. Hal and all sorts of things. There's still more to come. Don't think we're leaving you high and dry. It isn't over until the fat lady sings. So, is it still okay to say that, or is that
Probably? I don't see why not.
That saying died with the we're not allowed to objectify those fat ladies and their singing anymore. I don't know. Maybe that.
Well, it all depends on the singing to bring it to a conclusion.
Yeah.
Well, whether it be good or bad, we will leave it to the audience to decide. The chat link has been put in all the windows. You should see it. If you need it again, I'll be happy to throw it out there. It's free. It's easy.
Free.
No money is involved in the joining of the chat room.
Yes, and actually, this whole show you can watch it for free. But
don't.
But any monetary participation is voluntary.
Absolutely. But should you be interested in past performances, you can find them at our website, askdrhalshow.com.
I will mention anybody looking for our show to be put up on, we put it up on YouTube and archive.org. The archive.org is the full show, all the soup to nuts, the cartoon and all that stuff. The YouTube is a special entity, and because they're so picky about what things that we show, and they take no chances, and we don't either, but apparently their definition of a chance and ours is different. But we abbreviate the show to just mostly the Q&A parts, or things that are strictly internally produced. So even if we have permission to use it, so if you want a slightly shorter show, go to YouTube. If you want to see the whole thing, go out to archive.org.
Indeed, yes.
Yes, and we're glad and grateful that archive.org will do this.
Absolutely. Yes, they are doing the good work.
I should mention, too, it's going to be a little late this week.
What, the posting of this show?
Yeah, we've got really nice weather here, and I got a bunch of stuff I've got to do. So I'm the one who, edits that to get it out there. So
I appreciate that. I haven't posted my last radio show yet, but these things do get done in the fullness of time.
And rain is coming here in Delaware. We're a bi-coastal show. This is very strange how we operate.
We span the country, if not the globe, with this presentation.
We're
the
all
magic
over
of radio.
Trixie's up north of us. Billy is a bit down south and west of us. And then you guys are, out, Xenofact, Dr. Hal and Professor Gofflin are all out on the West Coast. So we're spread out. Somehow we managed to meet in the middle.
It works remarkably well,
Isn't
actually.
that weird?
Yeah.
Weird. And we do this whole thing online. No, we don't meet like around a kitchen table or anything. It's we'd love to. It would be really fun to do that. I wish we could like fly to a central location once a week and do
Like
An
a
things in
undisclosed
person. That
bunker.
would be fun.
Starwood or X-Day sort of venue.
So, right, but we would it would just degenerate into a getting stupid probably.
Well,
Probably.
we can always do that at home.
But those are the best. Yeah, sometimes those are the best kind. But well, anyway, so let me spin those wheels one more time because we've been sitting
Sure,
here
take one more
yakking.
look, and we will proceed.
No, the last one was Mob Me Addy. Mob Me Addy, you get the prize.
Well, thanks for that.
Last question. You get the last question participation award.
Mhm.
All right, well, folks, don't go away. We've got more coming, but that's the end of our questions tonight. So you've missed your opportunity, but we're coming back again on June the
Next
15th.
month.
Yes,
Right.
June
June
15th.
15th.
Join us again for it'll be Father's Day.
Third
So
Sunday of every
Exactly.
month.
Half the month, June 15th,
Are we
right?
gonna-
And it'll be
What do we do for, we did mummies.
yeah, how are we gonna follow that? Well,
Yeah.
that's for a later meeting.
we
We're
could
gonna
do
figure out.
evil renegade priests or something for Father's Day.
Ooh,
Call no man father
Ooh.
but your own, and so on.
Ooh.
Or
We
there
could
are
do
other
the big
fathers.
furry daddy
Mm-hmm.
Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fun. We could replay the cartoon that we showed for Big Furry Daddy. That cartoon actually is considered kind of a gay icon. I found in some research that I did.
I can't seem to recall this cartoon at the moment, but I'm sure I would when I saw it.
Oh,
if
the
we
Tom and
display-
Jerry cartoon.
Oh, that one.
Yes,
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
considered something. There is a lot of what they consider gay signaling in that cartoon. I believe it's also pre-code, so they were sneaking a lot of references in. But the
Well,
very
the two cops in it were gay, I noticed.
yeah, and yeah, just a shade off of drag.
Uh-huh.
And of course all the prisoners and cops dancing together is quite lovely. They put a stop to that. You're not allowed to do that in prisons anymore. Not when
I'm glad I
anybody's
found
looking
that
anyway.
one in my collection.
But yeah, so I mean that cartoon is very interesting on a couple of levels. We do interesting stuff here.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, thank you for coming out tonight, and we will see you at the after show chat. And with that, here comes the big close. Good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.
Good night for now.
Be sure to join us for an all-new Ask Dr. Hal Show Home Edition, June 15th, 2025, only on Twitch. Visit our website at AskDrHalShow.com for information on where to find this as well as previous episodes. It will be your task to think of the big questions. Dr. Hal will be standing by.
A Bat is Born from The Bat Poet by Randall Jarrell. A bat is born naked and blind and pale. His mother makes a pocket of her tail and catches him. He clings to her long fur by his thumbs and toes and teeth. And then the mother dances through the night, doubling and looping, soaring, somersaulting. Her baby hangs on underneath. All night in happiness she hunts and flies, her high, sharp cries like living needle points of sound go out into the night and, echoing back, tell her what they have touched. She hears how far it is, how big it is, how fast it's going. She lives by hearing. The mother eats the moths and gnats she catches in full flight. in full flight. The mother drinks the water of the pool she skims across. Her baby hangs on tight. Her baby drinks the milk she makes him in moonlight or starlight, in mid-air, their single shadow printed on the moon or fluttering across the stars, whirls on all night. At daybreak, the tired mother flaps home to her rafter. The others all are there. They hang themselves up by their toes. They wrap themselves in their brown wings. Bunched upside down, they sleep in air. Their sharp ears, their sharp teeth, their quick, sharp faces, all are dull and slow and mild. All the bright day, while the mother sleeps, she wraps her wings about her sleeping child.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.